we've been talking about a lot of things here with regards to the birth of or the start of Mike and the Mad Dogs LLC. And what I wanted to talk about was how I actually got the cart. And so the internet, great thing, right? Everybody can agree. Everything out there at your fingertips, so to speak. So with that said, I had done a easy search on Google, which was hot dog carts. All right, how simple can it get? And it's amazing what comes back. Do it sometime just for the fun of it. Anyway, I found out that there are tons of vendors out there, or suppliers, or however you want to call it. But the thing is that it was looking at what did I want to do? How did I want this set up? I've never had a cart before. Now, remember, I had referred to back in the 70s with my brother's business and everything, and it was not a hot dog cart. It was a step van that was converted on the inside, steam table, and that's what I knew. That's what I was using in the back of my mind to come up with something with regards to what can I do. So I started looking at the layouts of these various carts that these suppliers had and what they were trying to sell. And one of the ones I came across was a site called benscarts.com. I believe the name is now the hot dog store or something to that effect. Not really important, not relevant to what we're talking about. So what I saw was a variety of models, and there were a lot of different, I was like, what do I go for here? What do I want? And it really, the biggest factor that was kicking in, what can I afford? Because remember, there was no financing going on here. My credit rating at that time was, well, it's the example they would stick up on the wall in the credit bureau for all the new hires that say, if you see someone with this kind of credit history, yeah, this is what you want to stay away from. I'm sure. And they probably had a picture of me and everything. It's that important. The thing is, looking at what it is I can afford, what it is I wanted to do. So we already knew we were going to do Sabrett hot dogs. So those are otherwise known nickname. So really mouth-watering, tasty kind of nickname you can get. Dirty water dogs. Hey, I didn't make it up. But that's what they're known as in some circles. And that's fine with me. All right. The thing was, you don't boil the hot dogs. You keep them in extremely hot water, but not boiling. And that's it. So, steam table. Also in that steam table would be your sauerkraut and your cooked onion. So I needed to look at a layout. And lo and behold, a lot of the carts in New York City, let me just explain this. A lot of the carts in New York City that I remember experiencing, so the various compartments in the steam table, they would have these flip doors, and these vendors were, well, they knew their craft, they knew their carts and everything, the way they would flip the doors open with the tongs and everything like that. It was really almost entertaining to watch, but they knew where everything was and so on, and that's what I wanted. A left to right, right to left, whatever kind of orientation which you're going to do. You got your dogs, you got your what do you call it, your sauerkraut, your cooked onion, you have your buns. Now, key here is being able to steam the rolls. Makes a big difference. It really, really does. If you've never had a hot dog on a steamed roll, you need to try it. Really interesting experience. So, with that said, I needed that setup. I needed to be able to, so I did more digging, and it actually even led to a few days down the road after finding this site, talking to the actual owner, Ben himself, and explaining what it is I wanted to do. And I gotta admit, he was very helpful, very informative, and so I found a lot of information, and I started to look at, and I started to hone in on this one particular cart, and it was called the Cash Cow. Interesting. Selling hot dogs off a cart called the Cash Cow. All right, the two aren't really related, but that's not important. The thing is that I explained that I wanted to do all steaming. Now, a lot of these hot dog carts, they do come with as an attachment or even a grill. So I guess a lot of hot dog vendors out there grill their dogs, and I think what it is, I'm so used to what from back east was the dirty water dogs, or the dogs done in the water, and so on. So I didn't know about grilling a hot dog, and that's not important. The thing is that I didn't need all that. What I needed to do was take care of certain regulations too, and so I opted for the 4-sink option. They were 4 really small sinks, so, and a cooler, and yeah, so this is starting to happen. So I started to remove what I didn't need, add what I needed, and so on, and then did the math and did the final calculation and so on, and found a cart that I was going to purchase. So the next thing was I got that in writing, email, and so on and so forth, dealing with Ben's carts now. The deal was going to go down. So now it's a question of securing the financing, which simply meant going into the bank of 401k, which is my own private bank. I love that. Not really, because anyway, the thing is that I got the finances. Took a few days, got it. Made the purchase. Cart would be built and be sent to my location here in Plano. Interesting. So after making the deal with Ben's carts, I said everything was set into motion. The cart was going to be assembled and shipped to my location via an outside trucking company, what have you. So pretty much a delivery firm that I guess Ben had secured or works with, but not important. The important part would be the day the cart arrived, and that would be interesting. So I get notification, I hear from the actual driver that they are in the location, and so on and so forth, and it turns out this thing is on an 18-wheeler. Now, if I explain where I live in an apartment complex here known as Legacy Apartments, that's irrelevant. The thing is, to get an 18-wheeler in this complex, you'd have to be a damn good driver. I mean, can it be done? Sure. Was it going to happen for this particular driver? No. So here it is. The day arrives. Like I said, I'm all excited. The cart's going to show up and everything, and I'm going to get to see my future in a box. Well, I met the driver at his truck. He was at a location across from the Legacy Apartments in a parking lot, and when I saw the 18-wheeler, yeah, you get it, my heart just went boom. Not gonna happen. And I talked to the driver and I explained to him, I said, I don't know how you're gonna get in there. That first turn, and I'm talking, I think it was a 30-footer, if I remember correctly, but don't quote me on that. The thing was real simple. This wasn't gonna happen. He wasn't going to be able to take it out. He suggested that he drop it right there in this parking lot, which belonged to a Methodist church, which was down the street. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't leave that here. He said, well, what you could do is I'll drop it here. You could take it out and then you could wheel it over. I said, no, that's not going to happen. I thought that all the delivery instructions were covered, that where I lived, and that well, we're not going to go on and on about this. So what it turns out was the driver said he could take it back to his distribution center, which was, I forgot where it was located. Again, not important. But what it was going to do, it was going to delay this a couple of days. So what they were going to do is have to transfer this parcel from this gentleman's truck to another truck, a smaller truck that would fit in where I live and would have a lift gate on the back of the truck, so they could then move the hot dog cart, which was in a box on a pallet, so on, and drop it in front of my apartment. It just was not a good day. I was starting to feel the weight of, wow, what was I into here? Well, again, it's going to fall back to these obstructions, these things that get in your way. Head down, plow forward. So we had made the arrangements. The distributor that was responsible for delivering these sorts of parcels to various locations, on the phone with them, agreed, and everything was set into motion again. So 2 days go by, and anyway, they show up once again, and this time they are able to pull right in, and I hear the truck, I see it, it pulls up right in front of my apartment. Now, I live in a cottage-style apartment, so I'm on the ground floor, so to speak. There's nobody above me. There's nobody to one side of me. It really isn't ideal. I mean, for shy of living in a house, I like it. So, be that as it may, I go outside. I meet the driver and his partner, and we go ahead and arrange. So they move the pallet all the way to the end of the truck. They get it onto the gate. It comes down. They then are able to maneuver it with a pallet jack over to one of the 3 parking spaces I have in front of my cottage-style apartment. And that's where it sets up. Now, these are just 2 gentlemen that do this day in and day out. They're delivery truck driver, so they want to get going. I want to inspect everything, but what I did would turn out to be one of the, not biggest mistakes, but it would be a mistake with regards to what was going to happen next. I went ahead and signed off that I had received the cart. Yeah, signing for this cart was going to be a problem, or would present a big problem going down the road, but we're going to talk about that more next time we get together. So thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you next time on Mike and the Mad Dogs.